Tariffs are coming, people. Well, I call it the way I see it, right? Some of you may know me from YouTube, from another channel, and I do the same thing there. I'm just not going to sugarcoat anything. Are tariffs good for the average American? Well, studies have been made. First of all, the tariffs that he initially imposed when he was president before Biden took over, the Biden administration never got rid of those tariffs, by the way. FYI. Okay. These tariffs may be in addition to those tariffs that Biden never, got rid of. So, as far as we all know, right, we are not a manufacturing economy. That's a fact. We used to be. We used to manufacture wonderful things. But then, when globalization took over, what happened? We shipped all the manufacturing abroad, right? We shipped all those good middle class, high paying jobs, to other countries, specifically China, Canada, Mexico, and a lot of countries in Asia. So when that happens, the economy has to grow somehow. Well, how's the economy going to grow? So we print money, put it in the economy, in M2, money supply, and then we spend it on plastic. All of us have plastic, right? We just borrow and spend. So as a government, we're doing the same thing as a regular household is doing. Borrow and spend. I'll talk a little bit about that later. But so as far as tariffs, the studies have been made. They do take away, it is almost like a tax for the average American. The key for it, though, to what degree? And what's the benefit of tariffs? And what's the downside? What are the pros? What are the cons? There are certain pros, obviously, because we have a massive trade deficit with China to the tune of $500 billion plus. Well, since we buy everything from China, import everything from China, Mr. Trump or President Trump sees it fit that he unleashes these tariffs. He did it with Mexico, and he's going to do it with Canada as well. So as far as the effect of tariffs on our lives, the tax, it's almost like a tax, and it's been calculated to be about $250 to $400 per family per year. So is it going to rekindle inflation that the Fed is fighting now and trying to kill inflation, right, by higher interest rates? Potentially, because when we do put tariffs on other countries and the products that are coming in, what are the manufacturers of those products going to do? They're going to raise prices. Well, most of the stuff is imported by American companies that we buy at Costco and Walmart and whatever not. Well, what are those companies going to do? They're going to raise the prices. They're going to pass it on to the consumer. There is no ifs and buts about it. But is it going to be to the point that inflation goes back to what it was a couple of years ago? Well, President Trump is set to place tariffs on China, Mexico, Canada. Well, they're coming. He signed it already, executive order. Estimates show that Trump's tariffs could generate up to $3.3 trillion in revenue over the next 10 years. That's a drop in a bucket when you're looking at about a $36.3 trillion national debt and $500 billion a year trade deficit just with China. So that comes to about $330 billion in extra revenue per year. What does it mean? Well, Coinbase letter, which I follow religiously on Twitter, came up with these conclusions and numbers, and I agree. This is not just theirs. And so at the moment, our current GDP, gross domestic product, is 27.6 trillion. Our national debt is 163.3 trillion. So we are at 36.3 trillion, not 63, but we're going to get there probably in the next 25 years. So we're at 133% debt to GDP. And according to a lot of the analytics or academic studies, the US GDP, the new cost of tariffs on our GDP is going to be about 500 billion. Okay. So, but I'm not concerned about that amount of money when we're talking into the trillions. However, it's not about the money. It's about what we consume on a daily basis, what we buy. Are the prices going to go through the roof for a lot of these things? I don't think it's going to go through the roof, but for certain, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be, the corporations are going to pass along. They never eat these, right? They have pricing power to a certain degree, obviously, because if they raise the prices too much, if they pass it on to the consumer too much, the consumer is just going to stop buying it and look for alternatives. So it is not a shoo-in that they're going to double the price of everything. Although, as we know, over the last 3-4 years, we are paying double for a lot of things. Start with eggs, go all the way to car insurance, right? I mean, look at your bills. In fact, there was a wonderful little TikTok video that I saw. There was a gentleman 3 years ago. He had bought a basket for delivery, not basket of goods. Basically, it was his food and essentials for a week. He had bought it at Walmart and he had gotten it delivered. Okay. And then, so he went back to the same, obviously, the website, Walmart, and reordered exactly the same goods. Okay. Exactly the same goods. Because I guess you can click reorder and do it again. The prices were up 47% in the last 3 years for the exact same goods. And these are all essentials. These are food, toiletries, cleaning supplies, things like that. If that's up that much, what about the rest of the stuff? So, yeah, tariffs are coming. I am not going to, you know, be too concerned about it, but I think most of it is, saber rattling here. That look, we don't manufacture anything for China to buy from us. While we do, we are the best when it comes to software and IT and technology and things like that, which Chinese have plenty themselves, so they don't have to buy it from us. But as far as goods are concerned, we don't manufacture much for us to sell. So maybe what he should look into is start manufacturing in the US and help those companies, because as we know, when we do manufacture something in the US, the cost is prohibitive. Well, how about maybe some tax credit to those companies to start high-paying manufacturing jobs, just like China does. China subsidizes everything in China, right? The goods are so cheap because the government subsidies. Should we do the same thing if it's going to create high-paying middle-class jobs and bring back the middle class again? I think I'm for that. But so tariffs are coming. I'm not too concerned about it, but then it's data sensitive. We'll see. We'll look at the data going forward 3-6 months. If inflation is picking up, it is definitely part of it.